Hello students. So we are discussing about compass surveying. So in the previous classes you have seen what different types of bearings we have, and the different designation of bearings like whole circle bearing system and quadrantal bearing system. And you have seen problems where whole circle bearing system is converted to quadrantal bearing system, and how to convert quadrantal bearings into whole circle bearings. And you have even seen how to calculate back bearing when fore bearing of the line is known, and vice versa. And in the last class we have seen the problems where angles are found when the bearings are given, and how to calculate the bearings when angles are given. So uh, they, they are the two types of problems what you generally expect in your examination. So generally for 6 to 8 marks you will get a problem where you will find out bearings when the angles are given, and you will find out angles when bearings are given, right? So I request all the students to practice a few more problems taking the exercises from the textbooks, or you can even refer some question papers and find out the solution for those problems. And now we will move ahead and we will see what different types of compass we have, and we will see how to work with the compass. So before we begin with the compass, let us see to have a compass or to construct a compass what different quantities or entities are required. So first you should know what is the theory of magnetic compass. So to construct a magnetic compass, what exactly is required, right? So you have studied in your school days that whenever you suspend a magnetic needle, the direction of the magnetic needle will always be along north-south direction. North of the magnetic needle will get attracted towards the south, south of the earth, and south of the magnetic needle will get attracted towards the north of the earth. So that means what? North of magnetic needle is towards the south of the earth, and south of the magnetic needle is towards the north of the earth. So try to understand the meaning behind this. So whenever we construct any magnetic compass, the compass should have four entities. The first thing what a compass requires is magnetic needle. So every compass must have one magnetic needle, and that magnetic needle should be very sensitive, right? So the accuracy of the angles which you measure from the magnetic compass depends on the sensitivity of the magnetic needle. More sensitive the magnetic needle is, more accurate the bearings will be, right? So always it is required to have uh, a good magnetic needle free from any other magnetic attraction, and it should be very thin, very narrow, and it should be a balanced one. So whenever you keep the magnetic needle over a pivot, so it should be standing perfectly horizontal. So that is possible only when you have the center of gravity of magnetic needle coming exactly over the pivot. So as far as possible, you need to have the center of gravity or centroid of the magnetic needle exactly lying below the pivot. And sometimes it is so happen that because of the magnetic you can say reflux of the earth, or the electromagnetic waves which are running around the earth surface may hinder the position of magnetic needle. So magnetic needle may not be able to stand perfectly horizontal. So that might be because of the magnetic waves which are running around the earth. So in such cases, when magnetic needle generally bend downward in any of the direction, so it is possible that your magnetic needle may bend downward slightly. So in such cases, to have the balanced magnetic needle, a small weight is being attached at one end of the magnetic needle, so that magnetic needle becomes perfectly horizontal. So it is generally done where the dip is higher. You will understand what is dip and declination in future classes. So whenever the magnetic needle bend downward, we call it as dip, right? So whenever magnetic needle bend downward, at the other end where the magnetic needle has got elevation, so there you are supposed to have some weight attached, so that magnetic needle becomes heavier that side and it becomes perfectly horizontal. So the first thing which is required to construct a compass is magnetic needle, and the second thing is line of sight. So to frame the compass, needle alone is not sufficient. So the second thing what is required is line of sight. Line of sight means what? The direction towards which you are observing. So if I am having the compass in my hand, I need to have the direction towards which I need to see. So perfect vertical opening will facilitate the line of sight, right? So a narrow vertical opening at both the ends of the compass will help you to frame one line of sight. So most of the times the compass comes with a single line of sight or double line of sight. So we will come to know where exactly we will have one single slit or two slits, right? So along with magnetic needle, one should have even the line of sight. So the third thing which is required for construction of the compass is graduated circle. So you know that compass is required to get the direction or to get the bearing of any line. Bearing is nothing but angle. So when I need angle, so definitely I need graduations. So when you see a protractor will have the readings written over at the over the circumference end of protractor. So whatever angle is required for you, you just see where exactly is 60 degree and you put up a point there and then you mark 60-degree angle. So in a similar way, when I want to know what is the bearing of certain line, first I should have the line of sight, so that I should watch it towards that end, and second thing which is required is the angle at which I am sighting. So with respect to north, what is my line of sight, and for that line of sight what is the angle what it makes with north direction. So that is what is bearing, and to measure that bearing we require a graduated circle. So when you see one of the compass diagram, you will come to know what exactly I am talking about. But remember that to frame the compass or to construct a compass, you require even graduated circle where the angles are engraved, right? So the three things which are required are magnetic needle, line of sight and graduated circle. And the last one which is required is a box which will encompass all the three: magnetic needle, line of sight as well as graduated circle. So all the three should be placed in one single box. So a compass box is required to hold all the three which we have mentioned above. So whenever we construct a compass, make sure that you have all the four entities. So without a magnetic needle, it cannot be called compass, and without a line of sight, it cannot be called as a compass, and even without a graduated circle, it cannot be called as a compass. So whenever you find a compass, you find all the three things in that, and all the three will be filled into one single box, which is called as a compass box. So let us see what different types of compass we have now. So in your syllabus you have two types of compass, two types of magnetic compass. The first type of magnetic compass is prismatic compass, and the second type of compass is surveyor's compass. So you can see at the bottom we have two figures wherein you find on the left side you find a prismatic compass, and on the right side you find surveyor's compass. So prismatic compass and surveyor's compass, they almost look similar, but there is a slight difference between the two, which we are going to understand, and we will understand them thoroughly. And out of the two, the first one, prismatic compass, is the one what we have for you to work in your field as well as in your theoretical subject. Surveyor's compass, you will just understand what that compass is, and what is the difference between prismatic compass and surveyor's compass. Whereas prismatic compass is the one wherein you will be learning about that compass thoroughly. So we will begin with the first type of compass, that is prismatic compass. So you can see in the diagram how exactly a prismatic compass looks like. You will be working with this compass in your surveying lab in your higher semester. So just look at the surveyor's compass. The left side what you can see is the diagram showing the different parts of the prismatic compass, whereas on the right side you can see the figure of the prismatic compass. So the one which you have, the figure is exactly the one what we have in our laboratory. So you can see the diagram what different parts we have. I will explain it with the figure, right? So compass, as I have told you, will have a magnetic needle, the first entity, and it should have line of sight, and it should have graduated circle, and it must have a compass box, right? So I will show you all the things where you will have them. So the central steel magnetic needle you can see, right? On the left side, if it is possible, you can see it is written magnetic needle there. On the right hand side you can see the steel colored central vertical plate, right? So that is the magnetic needle, right? So that magnetic needle is placed over a pivot. It is kept over a pivot. So magnetic needle will be supported only on a single point so that it can be free to rotate. Whenever you keep the magnetic needle suspended at a single point, balanced on that particular point, so it will oscillate and it will have its orientation along north south direction, right? So that is magnetic needle, and magnetic needle is attached to the graduated circle. The circular circle what you can see is the graduated circle, right? And the graduated circle will have the readings on it starting from 0 to 360 degree, right? So 0 to 360 degree readings will be engraved into the graduated circle. So magnetic needle is attached to the graduated circle, right? And the one which you can see here at the right side is the prism or the eye vein. So at the eye vein you will find a small opening, right? So on the left side diagram you can easily see what exactly I am talking about. So this entire assembly of prism is called as eye vein, and that eye vein will have a vertical opening which is called as eye slit. That vertical opening is called as eye slit, and at the bottom of the slit there will be a circular opening provided which is called as eye hole, right? So eye slit and eye hole. Eye slit will provide you the line of sight, eye hole will provide you the reading. So readings are read from the eye hole directly. So prism will help you in getting the reflection of the readings from the graduated circle. So on the right side diagram or right side figure you can see, so there is a prism, and below the prism you can find that there is a graduated circle. So that graduated circle will help you in getting the readings read from the eye hole, right? So if you just look at the diagram, the readings are written inverted here, isn't it? So 0, 10, 20, 30, what you can see, they are written reversed or inverted. So why they are written inverted is because the prism will give you the reflected mirror image. So when mirror image is being given to you to read, so definitely the one what you can see through hole, the readings when you read, so they will definitely be the mirror image. So if they are engraved straight or erected, then definitely the one which you will be able to see from the prism will be an inverted image. So that is the reason why the graduated circle readings are engraved inverted, so that when you see them through the prism, you will find an erected image, so you can easily read them. So this is about the eye vein, right? And eye vein can be easily lifted up or down, right? So that it can suit your eyesight. So people will have different eyesight. So depending upon your eyesight, you can either rise it up or down so that you can see the image clearly. So it is going to help you in focusing. So at the bottom of the prism there is a focusing stud given, which you can increase or you can push it so that prism goes up, right? Or you can leave it so that prism comes down, right? So it will always help in lifting the prism up or down. So that will help you to make the readings clear. So on the opposite side of the prism you find object vein, right? So object vein is the one which will help you to frame the line of sight, right? So the line joining the object vein and the eye vein will definitely pass through the pivot, that is center of magnetic needle. So that forms a line of sight. Object vein will have the vertical central opening, the large vertical central opening, and that central opening will have a thread attached at the center, right? So you can see that there is a thread attached at the center, right? So that thread will help you to frame the line of sight with eye vein. Clear? So this is how the line of sight will help you in getting the bearings or getting the line of sight along the direction for which we are finding the bearing of the line, right? So about the compass, what you have is magnetic needle, graduated circle, eye vein and object vein. So all these things will be framed within a compass box, and this box will have the glass cover, right? So that magnetic property of the magnetic needle cannot be lost. So to preserve the magnetic properties of the needle, you are supposed to keep them within the enclosed box so that moisture doesn't enter into the box, and if moisture enters into the box then definitely it will corrode the magnetic needle and magnetic needle will lose its properties. And along with this the magnetic compass or prismatic compass even comes with the stand. So magnetic compass will be placed over a stand. There is a screw arrangement which will have the ball and socket arrangement. So it will be screwed to the tripod stand, right? So that you can fix it to the compass stand and you can freely work with your hands to rotate the compass and sight the object, right? So how exactly the bearings are observed or measured, you will come to know in your further topics, right? So I hope this is sufficient for you to understand the prismatic compass parts. Moving forward, so just to make sure you have understood the different parts of the prismatic compass, we have a video here, right? So let us watch the video and try to get some knowledge.
Prismatic compass. Let's see the function of different components in prismatic compass. Compass box is a circular metallic box of diameter 80 to 110 mm. Magnetic needle is made of symmetrical bar of magnetized steel or iron. The readings are marked on the graduated ring 0 degree to 360 degree clockwise inverted. The object vein consists of a vertical pad attached to a suitable frame, while the eye slit consists of a vertical slit cut into upper assembly. The prism box consists of a sighting slit at the top and two small circular holes one at the bottom of the prism and the other at the side of the observer's eye. A lifting pin is provided just below the object vane. Pivot is the point of rotation in the magnetic needle. A triangular prism is fitted below the eye slit, having suitable arrangement for focusing to suit different eye sights. Two dark colored glasses are provided with the prism for sighting luminous objects at night.
So moving forward, we will see how the bearings are measured with the help of compass. So when you see the graduated circle in prismatic compass, you will find a graduated circle like this with a central magnetic needle. So north and south are written over the magnetic needle. So if you look at the diagram, south has got 0 degree written on the graduated circle, whereas north is written 180 degree over here. So frankly speaking, when bearings are measured with respect to north, north should be your reference and north should be given 0 degree, because in your whole circle bearing system or quadrantal bearing system, you have seen that north is the reference and north is 0. But when it comes to compass, when the graduations are marked over the graduated circle, so 0 should be on the north. But here in the graduated circle, if you can see, 0 is written on the south side, whereas north has got 180 degrees. So why it is written so? Let us see from the diagram what we have on the right side. So in the right side, if you can see, north is written 180, south is written 0, east is written 270, west is written 90, right? So to understand why it is written so, just imagine you have the line of sight somewhat like this. You can see, I hope you can see that there is a dotted line which is written line of sight. So when you rotate your compass, right, so that you have this line of sight, remember when you rotate the compass, neither magnetic needle nor the graduated circle rotate. They will remain on the same north direction, because magnetic needle cannot have its position other than north. So if north is in particular direction, if you assume that north is in this direction, so definitely north, I mean the magnetic needle has to have this direction. So in the below diagram you can see that the north is having this direction. So even when you rotate line of sight, only the compass box will rotate along with the prism as well as the object vane, whereas the magnetic needle and the graduated circle will remain in the same position. So when they rotate, earlier when the line of sight was here, it was reading 0, right? And when the line of sight is here now look at this. So that means what? Line of sight is in this direction, in the sense what? The line is from this point toward this. You can assume that this itself is a line AB, isn't it? There is a line on the ground as AB, right? So this is line AB, and you have kept your compass on point A, and you have kept one ranging rod on point B, and you have turned the compass so that you sight the object kept on point B, that is ranging rod. So when you see that particular point, you frame the line of sight along AB. So north is in this direction, line AB is in this direction. So what is bearing of this line? Bearing of this line means angle made by the line with the north direction. What is that? So it is this angle, isn't it? So when you are measuring this angle, so it is definitely more than 270, because you can easily see this, that this is 90, this is 90, and this is one more 90, so 270 plus some angle, isn't it? So you must have angle written more than 270 here. So the angle here is 330 degree. You can see that this angle is 330 degree here. So this angle will be not 330. You are not reading the angle here. You are reading the angle from the opposite direction, isn't it? So that is the reason why north is written 180 and south is written 0 degree. So you can easily find out from this diagram. So here you can see that in this diagram, so you are actually required this angle to be read. Angle required is 330, this angle, whereas you are measuring this angle, the dotted one, right? So you are actually measuring the opposite angle, that's it. So it is quite an easy thing to understand why south is written 0. So imagine if the line is along the north itself, right? So along this line. So if this is point B, so when this is point B, so you are keeping the ringing rod on point B and you are having the line of sight along this direction. So a line is along north direction, so definitely the bearing of that line should be 0 degree. So that is what you are going to see here, south written 0 degree. Understood? So the reason why south is written 0 and north is written 180 degrees, you are measuring the angle on the opposite side of the measurement. So that is the reason why south is written 0 and north is written 180 degree. And even east is written 270 and west is written 90 degree. I hope this is quite easy for you to understand. Moving forward. So this is another type of compass which is called as surveyor's compass. You are not going to work with this compass, but for the understanding purpose you need to understand what exactly is surveyor's compass. It is almost same as prismatic compass. Only the difference is here the magnetic needle is free to move, right? So it is free to move and graduated circle is attached to the box. So as the box rotates, graduated circle rotates, right? And here it is going to have two vanes. One is object vane and another is eye vane. So here the eye vane is just to have the line of sight. So here the bearings are measured directly looking from the top of the glass. And magnetic needle itself acts as an index to note down the reading, right? So whatever the angle shown by the magnetic needle, that itself is the bearing of that line, right? So surveyor's compass will come with the magnetic needle free from graduated circle, and graduated circle is attached to the box, and it comes with two vanes, one object vane and one eye vane, and it doesn't have any kind of prism, and readings are not read from the prism, readings are directly read from the top of the glass, right? Now just understand what different parts surveyor's compass will have from this video.
Surveyor's compass. Let's see the function of different components in surveyor's compass. The needle is of edge bar type. The needle acts as the index. The graduated ring and needle are free to move with respect to each other. The object vane consists of a metal vane with a vertical hand. The lifting lever holds the magnetic needle. Pivot is a point of rotation in the needle. The eye vane consists of a metal vane with a fine slit.
So moving forward, so let us go to the last topic of today's discussion, the difference between prismatic compass and surveyor's compass. So most of the times you will find that there is a question on difference between prismatic and Surveyor's compass in your question paper. So you can consider that this is one of the very important question from this particular topic. So most of the question paper have this question for around 8 to 10 marks. So this is the way how you are supposed to write the difference between prismatic compass and Surveyor's compass. So you have to differentiate them part wise. So what different part and how it works in prismatic compass and in Surveyor's compass. The first thing is magnetic needle. So in prismatic compass, the magnetic needle is a broad needle type and it doesn't act as a index, right? Whereas in Surveyor's compass, the needle is edge bar type, right? And it acts as a index. Acting as index in the sense what? The pointer shows the angle or nothing but the bearing, right? So you have seen in the earlier video that Surveyor's compass has got a sharp edge at the end, so that acts as a pointer or an index to show the bearing of that particular line, right? Whereas in prismatic compass it is attached to the graduated circle, right? And graduated card, that is nothing but graduated circle. So in prismatic compass, graduated circle is attached to the magnetic needle and it is not free from rotation. It is not free to rotate along with the line of sight, right? So whereas graduated circle and needles are attached to one another. But in Surveyor's compass, you find that the graduated card is attached to the box, whereas magnetic needle is free from rotation, right? And graduated circle rotates along with the line of sight. So as you rotate the box, so even the graduated circle will rotate along with the line of sight in case of Surveyor's compass. And graduations are in whole circle bearing system in prismatic compass, where 0 degree is written at the south and 180 degree written on the north side, and west side has got 90 degree written and east side has got 270 degree written. So it is exactly the mirror image of what you are going to read, right? Whereas in Surveyor's compass the bearings are written or the graduations are in a quadrantal bearing system, whereas south and north will have 0 degree written, east and west will have 90 degree written, but only thing is that east and west will have the opposite sides, right? And here in prismatic compass, graduations are engraved inverted, because when you see it from the prism they will be seen erected, right? So that is the reason why they are engraved inverted in case of prismatic compass, whereas in Surveyor's compass they are engraved erected, because you will directly see through the glass and read the angles. So direct reading is done through the compass or through the glass top of the compass. And here in prismatic compass sighting vanes, so there is one object vane which will have a metal vane with a vertical hair at the center, and even in case of Surveyor's compass you find similar kind of object vane, whereas eye vanes are different in prismatic compass in comparison with Surveyor's compass. So in prismatic compass, eye vane consists of a prism, and that prism will have a vertical slit at the top and a circular hole at the bottom, so that reading can be easily read. Whereas in Surveyor's compass you find that eye vane is very similar to object vane. Only thing is that eye vane will have a very small slit open, so that a very straight object can be seen, so that line of sight can become very narrow. Otherwise, having the larger opening at the eye vane may have a wrong line of sight. So always it is to have a smaller opening at the eye side. So even in case of prismatic compass, you find that the opening, that is a vertical slit at the eye vane, you find that it is very narrow in comparison with the object vane side, right? And here in prismatic compass the readings are taken with the help of prism, right? Whereas in case of Surveyor's compass they are directly read from the top of the glass. And in prismatic compass you can read the reading and sight both can be done simultaneously. So sighting and reading can be done simultaneously in case of prismatic compass, whereas in case of surveyor's compass, first you sight, then you read the angles from the top of the glass. So you cannot do both the work simultaneously here. And prismatic compass may or may not be provided with the tripod stand, because you can even hold the prismatic compass on your hand. You can measure the bearing of any line, because sighting and reading are done simultaneously. But surveyor's compass cannot be used without a tripod stand, right? Because first you need to sight, then you need to see it from the top of the glass for bearing. So that is the reason both cannot be done simultaneously. So here in surveyor's compass, tripod is very necessary. So that's it for today's class. Thank you.